we've got some baseball news, Jake, to discuss. Your team, the New York Yankees, making moves. They get DJ LeMahieu. The deal, I have the exacts right here. If I open up my rundown sheet, I want to say it's a $90 million deal for DJ LeMahieu. And they also get Corey Kluber as well. Jake, the question is easy. We'll talk about the Yankees first. What does this mean for the Yankees? And now does this put an answer to that question that we talked about when the White Sox had their news of, no, the Yankees are now to be looked at as the best team in the AL?
Yeah, I think the Yankees are I still think they need another pitcher. I think Kluber is a very good addition. He's definitely a low risk, high reward on a 1-year deal. He took less money with the Yankees to try to have a chance to win, which I appreciate a lot.
And when you're the Yankees, you can do that with guys. Hey, want to try to win? Want to try to win with us? We'll give you a championship.
Exactly. I think getting Domingo Germán back this year, getting Severino back in the middle of the year, seeing what he is. I mean,
I forgot about Severino. He was injured.
Yeah, I don't want to say blatantly this is the team that should win the AL. But if Severino or Kluber come back and actually hit this team, I mean, they just need that number 2 with Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole is obviously the solidified number 1. If Kluber or Severino can be that, they have so many different options. And obviously I said Germán and Montgomery and Garcia and Schmidt. They have so many different starters that they can throw out that if they can actually stay healthy this year in the bullpen, they're going to be a very hard team to beat. I still think adding another starter and another reliever would be very good. But at where they're at right now, I'm glad they actually went out and signed some pitching.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me, not being a Yankees fan, is to me, it's bigger that you kept LeMahieu on this team, mainly because all the rumors I was seeing is that there was a good chance that DJ LeMahieu was going to be a Toronto Blue Jay if he was not signed by the Yankees. So, that's one thing, because to me, I feel like with this entire, both of these news is how it affects the AL is basically, now let's see if Toronto can basically deliver on any of the free agents it has. I know George Springer we've talked about. There's another name that's mistaken me. There's a non-pitcher candidate that they're high on, right? The Blue Jays? Or am I just thinking DJ LeMahieu?
I probably was just DJ. The only one I've ever heard is Springer, unless I'm missing something.
Yeah. JD says they're easily the best team in the AL East. Don't remind me. Yeah. That's the big thing to me. The Toronto Blue Jays are probably the only team to where it's if they can hit on those free agents that they have targeted, maybe they can give the Yankees a run for their money. Because the thing for me with the Yankees is not about what they do in the regular season. They will be fine in the regular season, barring any catastrophic injury that may happen. To me, it's what happens when they get to the playoffs, because the past few years you've had the series against the Astros. I know the Astros were cheating during that time, so take that with a grain of salt. Last year, they ran into the hottest team in baseball in the playoffs, who went to the World Series from the AL. In Tampa Bay, who they took to 5 games in that second round series, that divisional series in the AL. To me, that's the question. If Kluber can get back to form, like you said, if they can add another pitcher, they bring Judge back, they avoid arbitration with him. So they signed him to, I think, a $10 million deal for this year. We'll see if anything long-term happens. It should, because they should keep him down as long as they should. To me, it's right now it's a 2-dog race in the AL, possibly a 3 with the possible, hey, there's a shocking team. And it comes down to the Yankees, the White Sox, and then Toronto if they make their moves. But with the Yankees, can they run into someone in the AL and get through that playoffs and not have that heartbreaking loss that they've had the last couple of years?
Yeah, you're talking about one of Jake's teams making it to the playoffs and having heartbreaking losses. Oh, man.
Maybe they just need to lose you as a fan. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, honestly, all my teams that's going to make it to the playoffs and heartbreaking losses.
Jake's the problem.
Toronto came in and they offered DJ 4 years, $78 million, and then apparently the Dodgers did too. The Yankees took him for more years, less AAV. I mean, the Yankees got last 2 years, a top 3 MVP candidate for $15 million a year. Now, I know paying him towards the end of that contract, he's going to be old, but DJ's game is pretty good because it's going to age well is what I mean, because
Yeah.
he's not a strong power hitter. He hits to all fields. He's a great fielder. He doesn't really, it sounds bad, he doesn't really use his athleticism to be how good of a hitter he is.
But he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT, Jake.
Okay. No, that's no wrong. But talking about the AL, I kind of mentioned this last time. The Rays are always going to be there. The Rays are just one of those franchises now that they just seem to always be a pain in the ass. Like they lose Charlie Morton, they lose Blake Snell. You're like, oh, they're finally going to be bad, and then they're going to have some other 2 pitchers come up from AAA that throw 99 and have sub-3 ERAs this upcoming year. And the Astros are the Astros. The Astros, they might have cheated and all that. They're still a very good team. They still have. I believe Justin Verlander will be back this year. You still have Altuve, you still have Bregman, you still have Correa, you still have Jordan. They're still going to be a great team. The Yankees, it's like you said, every year they get to the postseason, and it's funny because we want to sit here and blame the pitching, but then when the big games come up, it's the bats that are the problems. I've talked about this with the Yankees a lot, is that while they have so many great hitters, they have a bunch of high percentage strikeout hitters and low percentage walk hitters, and that was why keeping DJ wasn't such another big thing, because he is one of the rare guys who has a low K rate and more of a high contact rate in the lineup when you compare him to somebody like Gary Sanchez, Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, all those kind of guys. And then you have seen the Yankees, they're still all aggressive. They was reported they were in talks with the Reds for Luis Castillo, but that is dead because the Reds asked for Gleyber Torres, and we're not the Cubs. We're not giving him up. Sorry.
Oh, he died for our World Series sins. Amen.
Good Lord.
That's all I think of with Gleyber Torres. But like, and just to throw it out there because JD said it, JT Realmuto is the other one that I was thinking about.
Okay.
Realmuto, Springer, and now I forgot his name. DJ. Is the one that they were going after, and it's just like, that's the thing, because the Astros, the Rays, and then in 2018 it was the Red Sox that beat the Yankees 3-1. To where the thing with baseball too is it's a very like, when are you going to get hot, when are you going to get cold kind of a thing.
Yep.
Where we see teams in the early months just catch fire, and maybe that's enough to keep them in the playoff hunt and keep them in the playoffs. But then it's like, wow, we're cold in the playoffs. There's no way we're going to hit the broadside of a barn. And they end up getting swept or losing in 4 games to who they have, or they just escape and lose in the next round. To me, it's like, that's the Yankees. Like, they need to get over the second round curse is what I'm calling it. Because in the last 4 years, the only time they've won 2 series is 2017. That was when they were wild cards. Of course, that wild card game, I'm not even going to fucking count, because whenever the Yankees play the Twins lose. It's just a matter of science at this point. So, like, you beat the Indians, lose to the Astros. You beat the Athletics, you lose to the Red Sox. You beat the Twins, you lose to the Astros. You beat the Indians, you lose to the Rays. Like, this team needs to stay hot longer. And then the second question is, if you do stay hot and you make a World Series, how confident are you that this team can match up to an LA, to a San Diego, who are easily the 2 favorites in my mind in the NL side of the league, to where it's like, oh, if you match up against one of those 2, how confident are you right now in the Yankees, or do they for sure have to make one of the moves that you were talking about?
Yeah, see, okay. The Dodgers are they're very good at baseball. They have a lot of very, very good. They have 2 of the top 3 players in the entire league in their lineup. I mean, like I think I said this last time I was on. The Dodgers are just the most well-run franchise in the league, and you could be like, oh, they spend all this money. I'm like, yeah, but how many bad deals do the Dodgers have? How many times do they spend money on a guy and it doesn't work? It rarely happens. Yeah. I mean, they went out and they were like, okay, we're going to get Mookie Betts. Oh, and the next day we're going to sign him to an 11-year deal. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, there goes any hope we had. It's just, the Yankees still need. It doesn't even matter that they need one guy. They need somebody to step up. The Rays last year had what the hell was his a Rosarena. They had a Rosarena who just came out and played the best player in the entire postseason last year. He played absolutely out of his mind. guys like Stanton, it's guys like Gary Sanchez who are supposed to be cornerstones in this franchise and have to step up instead of players like Gio Urshela and even DJ LeMahieu having to carry the team every single year, and Aaron Hicks having to come up with clutch home runs. Judge is great. That's not. Yeah. I'm not really worried about Judge. I'm more worried about like Gary Sanchez is my main worry with this team. He is literally a black hole of offense, like we call Terrence Ross in the NBA. We call him the black hole of offense and defense, honestly, in the MLB. Gary Sanchez is just not good at baseball, but he hits home runs every now and then. So, hey, we like him. It's just
the only reason why I use him in MLB The Show for my team, because he can hit dangers.
Yeah, dangers. It's just finding some type of consistency in this lineup and still going out and still going. Andrelton Simmons is still out there, one of the best, if not the best, defensive shortstops in the league. Yeah. Do you go out and get a guy like that helps your lineup and gives you a little bit of flexibility instead of being like, we have to have DJ at second and we have to have Kluber at short. If one of them gets hurt, we're screwed because Tyler Wade has to go play, and Tyler Wade's not good at baseball. So it's more adding to those kind of moves and having some type of lineup flexibility instead of just being like, we have one guy at every position, we have one platoon guy, and if one of those guys gets hurt, we're kind of screwed.
Yeah, and last thing I'm going to ask you about is not about the Yankees. This is about news that just happened. I don't even have a card for it, but I want to get your thoughts on this, Jake. Basically, there was a 3-team trade. San Diego Padres are not done. They are adding San Diego native Joe Musgrove to this team. Just a little graphic I have here from MLB Network. Here's the rotation options for the Padres now in 2021. So you have Blake Snell, Yu Darvish, Danielson Lamet, Joe Musgrove, Chris Paddock, Mackenzie Gore, Joey Lucchesi, Adrian Morjan, and then Ryan Weathers. Oh, by the way, Mike Clevenger will miss this year because of Tommy John surgery. Those are all the options for this team. They are just, to me, going for the throat of like, you know what wins in the playoffs? Fucking pitching. We're going to make sure you can't hit the ball and just Tatis Jr. can hit a dinger and we win.
Yeah, well, Lucchesi, I would say he actually is going to the Mets in that deal, which is pretty ironic because the Mets make another move. I mean, Musgrove was a guy I wanted the Yankees to go out and get. He's in this. He's in the 70+ percentile for basically every single pitching statistic. He's not a great starter. He's not a bad starter. He's just somebody who's going to eat innings for them. And another guy that if somebody goes down, you can be like, all right, doesn't matter. We have depth. We can go get another. They have like 9 pitchers. Yeah. Like this team is just. Props to the San Diego because they still haven't traded any of their top 5 prospects, which is just I mean
they came close in this deal. It was so the Pirates got the Padres 7th ranked prospect Hudson Head, who is an outfielder, left-hander Omar Cruz, who's their 17th prospect, and then right-hander Drake Fellows, who is not listed. And they also got catcher outfielder Eddie Rodriguez, who was the Mets' 14th prospect.
Yeah, I mean, they're just the Padres continue, like we said last time, to do great business, and that's, I mean, that's what they do. The NL is going to be the NL West is going to be so much fun this year with the Dodgers and the Padres going at it the entire year. It's just, I mean, it's good for baseball that somebody's trying to challenge the Dodgers, and I still don't think it's enough because I still think the Dodgers are just insane.
Well, like somebody had to because for the longest time, like ever since I want to say 2015, you had the Cubs in 2014. That was when we made our surprising run and got to play the Mets in the NLCS. Pretty much ever since then, it was basically like, oh, okay, Cubs Dodgers in the NLCS to see who goes to the World Series. And the Cubs, after getting rid of Madden, now it's seeming like, yeah, I know we avoided arbitration with Chris Bryant and Javi Baez, but it's like, is Chris Bryant even going to be on this team much longer with all the trade rumors circling the Cubs? Like, somebody needs to take that spot and needs to basically be the new rival for the Dodgers. And I absolutely love, like you, the Padres making those runs of like, hey, you know what? We've got a good team. We've got Tatis Jr. We've got Hosmer on this team. We can go ahead and make a run, just basically solidify our pitching, getting Snell, getting Darvish, now getting Musgrove, in order to make sure they can even be a threat in the playoffs. I'm trying to load Musgrove's spot rack to see how many years he's had left because I don't know exactly, Jake. Oh, 1 year? So is this a Aroldis Chapman situation where it's like, hey, we're going to give up these prospects even if Musgrove leaves at the end? I mean, maybe not exactly Aroldis because they'll still have you, Snell, and then Clevenger. This might be a move of like, hey, Clevenger's not here this year. We need a guy to take that spot anyways. Let's take Musgrove, and if he leaves, he leaves.
Yeah, I'm not. I think he has 1 more year of arbitration, so he still has. They'll be able to bring him back next year.
Okay.
I just they're already talking. They're going to sign Tatis to a 10-year extension.
Yeah,
naturally. To go through all of his. Yeah, to go through all of it. But they actually have money to spend. They're pretty well under the luxury tax for the most part. Because Yu Darvish will only be there for a year or two. Blake Snell will most likely be there long term. Clevenger will be there long term. I mean, it's wild. They could still go out and sign Trevor Bauer if they want to. This team is so good. And Fernando Tatis is my favorite player in the entire league. If you love baseball, you love Fernando Tatis. He is he's everything you want in a baseball player.
Him and Tim Anderson make the sport fun.
Yeah, and it's ironic that the White Sox traded Fernando Tatis for James Shields. Hey,
big game James, baby, big game James.
Yeah, I mean the Padres. Like I said, the Padres have a pretty good amount of flexibility under the 210 hard cap, luxury cap. So I mean, yeah, this could be just a 2-year move for Musgrove. But again, they didn't give up a lot to get him. So even if it is only a 2-year deal, it's whatever.
Yeah, the one team though I can't think, how do I phrase this? I can't help but think about, that's how I'm going to phrase it, is the Atlanta Braves, though. Because, like, they're a team that I know a lot of Atlanta Brave fans are like, I don't care what moves the Padres made. We are the second best team to go ahead and battle the Dodgers for the years to come. But if I'm Braves fans, I'm a little nervous because they might be the third team now. If I had to rank like odds to make the NLCS, it'd be Dodgers, Padres, and then Braves. Where before all these moves, it was Braves above the Padres by a long shot. And in the AL, it's probably, Yankees, White Sox,
Rays, Astros,
then Blue Jays. Are Blue Jays in the top 5 in that category? Or does it depend?
It depends what happens the rest of the offseason. Because, again, I mean, they haven't added anything. They just kind of stayed stagnant, which I mean, they've definitely gone out and tried. It's just they have a very good young core. I hope for our sake they do this, but I hope they don't go out and spend recklessly and be like, we have to compete now, we have to do this now. You have such a good young core that even if you don't hit, George Springer would be a great addition for them. I think that sounds like the most realistic option if they are offering him that deal. I think Real Muto might actually end up back with the Phillies. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen. I think I think they're third in the AL East still behind the Rays and the Yankees.
Yeah, and like yet again, if they lose out on Springer, then if I'm them, I wouldn't even go hardcore into JT. You know what I'm saying? Where it was like, if I get Springer, then it's like, okay, if we have to up the money a little bit for JT, let's go ahead and do it. But if you lose out on George Springer, it's like, why am I going to go aggressive on JT Realmuto? He doesn't really move the needle in a huge way to me. It's both of them that would move that needle. Jake, any final thoughts on anything baseball before we wrap up the show?
I'm happy that the Yankees took till January 16th to fucking do something. But Brian Cashman woke up feeling dangerous that day is all I know.
They wanted to get you really happy before the Saints lost.
Yeah, okay, next question.
I'll ask you. Same thing I asked Dave. Is Drew Brees done for sure?
Yep, I'll be in Canton in 5 years when he's the first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay. Thanks for the memories, Drew.
Okay, so you're going to be at that presentation? Barring no COVID?
I will be there. I will be there, COVID or not. I'll be there for my dude.
Barring no COVID, that I hope COVID doesn't last another 5 years.
Hopefully not.
That would be awful. But that's going to do it for the show today. Thank you guys for being as great as you are and checking it out. Remember, join the Discord if you're not in it already. Best community on the internet. Link down below in the description or exclamation point, if I can speak English, into Twitch chat. Gets the exclamation point Discord. Gets it into Twitch chat for you. Patreon.com/MVP vids is how you can support us. You can also throw us a sub on Twitch, where we are live every Monday through Friday. Twitch.tv/MVP vids. We're also on YouTube at MVP Sports. Want to thank you guys for being so great. Thanks, Jake, for coming on, talking baseball, filling in the baseball hole that we had, because Dave doing a great job today. Thanks to Dave for everything that he does. We will be back tomorrow, and as always, have a good day, everybody.